welcome back to Dancer Diaries. If you're new, make sure you check out my channel. I've got a discussion for you today. So after a little while ago, I posted a video about how to do your first restaurant gig. So your first professional restaurant gig. And based on that, I had a lot of questions saying, well, how do you get your first restaurant gig? Which is a really good question because of course you can't perform your first professional performance until you get that performance. So this is a question kind of a little bit about marketing, but I'm going to tell you my experiences, the best way I find to get different gigs, especially at restaurants. So number one thing, if you're trying to start out at restaurants performing professionally for the first time, firstly, be a great dancer. So that is really important. Obviously, our dancing style, it can be complicated, it can be difficult. You want to be able to get follow-up gigs as well. You don't want to just have one gig and then finish. You want to be able to really perform, show off your stuff. Now, being a great dancer will depend on which restaurant you are performing at. So for example, if you're dancing in Melbourne, there's lots of local Lebanese restaurants. The people who go there tend to be Lebanese. They know a lot about belly dancing, they know a lot about form, they know a lot about technique, they can do it themselves as well. You don't want to go to your first gig and be shown up by your audience. So make sure you're a great dancer in that way. But also there's lots of other restaurants where you can dance that love to have belly dancers but don't necessarily require that level. So yes, you still want to be a great dancer, you still want to have your great technique, etc, etc. But for example, I know in Melbourne where I live, there's lots of Indian restaurants that like entertainment, and the level of belly dancing you need there is possibly less technical than you would need if you were dancing at an Egyptian or a Lebanese restaurant. So choose what types of restaurants you want to dance at, but number one, make sure you're a great dancer. Number two, make sure you are a great performer. So I've separated this from dancing because your performing is very different to how you dance. You can be perfect at doing combinations, at doing technique, but if you don't have that stage presence, again, you're not going to be invited back. So you want to try and get lots of gigs for a long time rather than just one off. You want to be really happy with it, and part of that is being a fabulous performer. As I said in my video about your first restaurant gig, you're there to entertain. You're there to provide some entertainment so that the restaurant can get the meals out, and the audience, you want them to love you, you want them to have a great time, you want to get them up dancing if you can, but even if they don't want to get up to dance, you want them to feel like they're part of the experience. That is something that's so beautiful about belly dancing because you're up close to your audience, you can really engage them one-on-one, which is beautiful. So practice that as well. So we're already great dancers, we're already great performers. Number three, how to get that restaurant gig. So I know it sounds very old school, but one of the best ways to do this is to approach the restaurants directly. So firstly, look up all the restaurants in your local area that you think might like belly dance. Yes, so contact these restaurants directly, and I would really recommend, instead of just emailing them out of the blue or calling them out of the blue, they won't remember you, they won't know who you are, go into the restaurant. Now, when you go to the restaurant, make sure it's a time when firstly the manager's there, but also secondly when they're not really busy. If you go at 7:30 p.m. on a Saturday night, they're not going to even be able to notice you. You're going to be annoying. They're going to tell you to get out, or they'll say, oh yes, 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 thanks, and want you to leave. So try and choose a time when the restaurant's open but likely not to have many customers. So for example, if it's a restaurant during the whole day, you might go later in the afternoon, you might go really early before dinner starts. So work out a time. Also ask for the manager, ask for the manager's name so you connect directly with the manager. Now, next thing to do is leave contact details with the manager. I would really recommend getting flyers done. Flyers are great because you can put information on there about you as a dancer and also the benefits of belly dancing for the restaurant, as well as all your contact details and photos too. I think flyers are better than business cards. Business cards, they can easily get lost, it gets caught up with everything else. But if you have a flyer, they're more likely to keep it, they're more likely to notice it just because it's bigger. As well, if it's a really beautiful flyer, then that's something great for them to look at as well. When you are going to the restaurant, you really want to impress them. So there can be kind of two different scenarios. It might be one where they used to have a belly dancer and the belly dancer's left, so they need someone new. Treat it just like a job interview, but you're the one initiating the job interview, going in there, trying to sell yourself to them, which I know can be really cringy, but you have to do it. The other scenario could be where they already have a dancer, but they need a backup plan if the dancer's sick, or they might want another dancer who can do another night that that dancer can't do. So in all of these scenarios, they already know the benefits of belly dancing and having belly dancing at their restaurant. But you might approach a restaurant that has never had belly dancing before. In this scenario, you have to convince them that they need belly dancing. So it's not just about you now, it is about belly dancing and entertainment. So some of the benefits of having belly dancing at their restaurant might be if their restaurant's really busy, it helps them, as I said before, you can entertain while they're serving the meal, so that instead of people thinking, oh, it's a really busy night, it's taken half an hour for us to get our meal, people think, oh, that show was amazing. They don't even realize that they've been waiting for their food. Another benefit might be that if they are, especially Middle Eastern restaurants or entertainment restaurants, if they have you there, it can be a draw card to get people into the restaurant and to have those bookings as well. So think about some of the benefits. It will definitely depend on the restaurant, or depend on you, your style, all those kind of things about why they should hire you and how it will impact their business. In the end, they are running a business, so they will only hire you if it's going to help them. So please keep that in mind. Next thing to keep in mind is what to charge. So different restaurants, different countries, different economies, of course, all charge different amounts, but try and choose a rate that is fair to you, fair to the restaurant, but fair to other dancers as well. So more on that shortly. But you want to make sure that you're not undercutting other dancers, but as well as that, it needs to be a price that works for you. You don't want to be driving an hour and back to get a rate that isn't worth your time. Keep in mind as well, not just driving time, you have to prepare yourself, you have to prepare your show, prepare your choreographies if you're doing choreographies, prepare your music, you have to dress yourself up, put your nice makeup on, costumes, all those things. Keep that in mind when you're quoting. Now, the next thing is asking other dancers. So, this is separate to approaching the restaurants directly, but this is also why it's really important to keep your other dancers on side and charge fairly, because often the first restaurant gig you will get will be filling in for someone else. So if there are lots of dancers in your city who are already working at restaurants, one way that you might be able to get a gig is to contact those dancers directly and say, hey, I really want to get restaurant work. Can you help me? Or if you ever need a fill-in, I'm available. Very, very simple, but a great way to do it. Dancers will always need fill-ins. There'll be weekends where they're away, where they're sick. They want someone reliable, who's a great dancer and a great performer as well. So again, you have to be all three of those things. They're not going to put you on if they think you're unreliable, because that's going to impact their reputation as well, and they want you to really show what you've got, but also entertain the crowd, because again, that's all part of their reputation. Again, if you are contacting dancers, try not to just make it a group Facebook message saying, oh, hi everyone, I want some more restaurant work. Contact the dancers individually, because there'll be certain dancers who know your style. It's best if they know you, if they've seen you dance before, that'll have a bigger impact than just contacting people at random. And then finally, prepare for your show. So when you do it, like I said at the start, you want to be a great dancer, great performer, you want to be asked back. They want to really enjoy it. So again, your show can depend on what restaurant it is, what the audience is, putting that music together. I've got a lot more about your first restaurant performance in my other video, which I've linked below. So check that out. And of course, happy dancing, just enjoy it. If you're having a great time, your audience will have a great time as well. The restaurant will love you and they will ask you back. So So I hope these tips have helped you. If you have any other tips about how you get restaurant performance gigs, please write in the comments below. It will be really helpful for everyone. And as always, you can write me any comments if you have feedback on this video or other videos that you would like to see, and enjoy it. Thanks very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time.